My wife makes me nervous. Anytime she's going to try to get the girl to take a nap, my wife says she's going to put her down. I'm like, last time I heard that, my dog didn't come home.
Welcome to the Focus on the Family broadcast, helping you and your family thrive in Christ.
Today we're featuring some family-friendly comedy from Jeremy Nunes. Jeremy has been working in comedy for over 20 years, except for a brief hiatus when he was elected mayor of a small town. And you're going to hear more about that in a few minutes. He and his wife, Sandra, have a son and a daughter, and they live in rural Illinois. Here's Jeremy Nunes on today's Focus on the Family.
Please welcome to the stage, Jeremy Nunes!
Wow. How cool would it be if I walked into my house and that happened? That'd be awesome. So, man, I appreciate you guys coming out, man. What a great time this is going to be. I'm so excited, man. And everybody here just made everything so easy for me. I am so grateful. A lot of times we do these shows, and it is not easy. I was actually just driving to a show a couple weeks ago, and ended up getting lost. I had to stop and ask for directions, and I ended up at one of these tiny little gas stations where it's just the one guy in the booth with his microphone, right? And you can't hear anything he says unless he talks right into that thing. Yeah, I tell him where I need to go. He goes, oh, yeah. All you got to do is go to that stop sign there, take a left. And then you just go up. There's been a string of carjackings. That gas station got robbed down. It's right next to the prison. Hope that helped. I was like, yeah, thanks a lot. We get back to the car, my friend goes, what'd he say? I go, well, we're going to go to the stop sign over there and take a left. After that, we probably die. But this is a cool job to have. I get to travel around. I work with a lot of comedians you see on film and TV. Some of you might actually recognize me from the movies. I'm that guy that always sits in front of you at the theater. But one of the things I don't understand about being tall is like everyone asks me if I used to play basketball, right? And I don't get it. There's nobody who walks up to a short guy and goes, hey, are you a jockey? Or nobody walks up to an overweight guy, hey, is there a buffet around here? And it's the same conversation every time. People come up to me, they're shocked at my size, and they'll walk up and go, whoa! You are tall. How tall are you? 6'6". No, you're way taller than that. Nobody does that with the overweight guy. Nobody walks up to him, whoa! You are big. What is your waist size? 68. No. You're way bigger than that. Any store I walk into, someone will stop me and ask me to get something off the top shelf. That doesn't work both ways. I can't grab some short guy walking down the aisle. Hey! I dropped my keys. Why don't you pick those up? And I've been seeing my family a lot more lately. I actually used to live in Chicago and moved back to my hometown in central Illinois. And it did not take long for weird things to start happening. Okay? I was riding along Christmas Eve. Dad's driving. Got my little 5-year-old boy in the back seat. As we ride along on Christmas Eve, out of nowhere a deer hops out. Bam! Dad nails it. First thing my little boy says, Rudolph! Dad goes, don't worry, buddy, we didn't kill him. I'm pretty sure he died when he fell out of the sky. And I'm around for holidays, which is nice. I don't know if ours work like yours, but a lot of the ladies make their own dish and they bring to share. And my grandma's 87 years old, still helps out, makes her specialty, which is homemade baked beans. And after all these years, she finally revealed the secret ingredient in the baked beans: cigarette ash. You never saw food shoot out of people's mouths so fast. I have to admit, though, it does give it a nice smoky flavor. Weird stuff happens to me all the time. I do a lot of fundraiser shows. I did one fundraiser. There was a lady at the show the same height as me. I was like, this is crazy. I wanted to say something to her, but I didn't know how to approach a situation with her being the same height. You know, I just tapped her on the shoulder. I go, hey, do you play basketball? So I'm back in the small town where I grew up, and I've learned that in the small town we have our own official sport, fishing. Yeah, we got some fishers in the audience tonight. Fishers? Nobody? No, not at all. Okay. Sir, right here, my friend. When you catch your fish, you take it home, cook it, you let it go back. You take it home, cook it? Really? I usually let it go back. I catch and release. I get it, send it back on its way. Yeah. I also do that when I hunt. I'll shoot a deer, like, go on! Go to your friends. So, shoot and release, they call that, actually. So, but anyway, a funny thing happened when I moved back to my hometown. I got elected mayor of my town. And the thing is, I ran for office as a joke. Like, I got my name on the ballot as comedian Jeremy Nunes, and my campaign slogan was, put a real joker in office. Because I was like, who would vote for that person? 80% of the town. I guess I did an all right job. I actually won an award for being one of Illinois' most ethical mayors. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah. It was largely because I issued a fine to my parents. I remember my dad calling me when he found out. He was like, Jeremy, why did I get this fine in the mail? I was like, well, your grass is way too high. You have to mow your grass. He goes, Jeremy, you mow our grass. I go, well, you should have called me sooner. And it was a weird job. I had to review people's resumes that wanted to work for the town. One guy, his email address listed on his resume was bankrobber247 at AOL. I was like, how creepy is that? Obviously, I cannot hire someone who still uses AOL. And another guy was interviewing him to be our city manager, and I asked him, could you tell me the difference between a regulation and a statute? And he goes, sure, a regulation is a rule or a code you have to follow. A statute is a sculpture, like the Statue of Liberty. I hired that guy. And when you're on a city council, sometimes you got a topic you think is going to go right through, it takes all night. Other times you think it's going to take all night, goes right through. So, I asked my council to approve the purchase of 6 new picnic tables for the park. No problem, goes right through. And then I just kind of toss out there, anybody care what color we get? 2 hours. You know what color we decided on? Wood. Man, and there's always one bonehead on the city council. We had one guy on the council won $100 on a lotto scratch-off ticket, quit his job. I put him in charge of the budget. So back in the small town. And the best part about being back in the small town, I was able to start dating women from the small town. You know, I'm married now, happy I am. Being single, it was so tough. I remember I took this girl out on a date. Our very first date together, she told me if I ever wanted to go out with her again, I had to spend at least $200 on her that night. I go, $200? I didn't plan on spending that much on an engagement ring. So she ended up breaking up with me. I still don't quite understand. She was mad because I wouldn't break the law for her. She's 4'8", so I made her ride in a car seat. But anyways, like I said, I'm married now. Happy I am. It's a very special day today, actually, for me. Because 7 years ago today, I proposed to my wife, told her I'd make her the happiest woman in the world, and she said yes. Oh, thanks, guys. I lied to her. But we got married, and of course we had to combine all of our stuff. So what was hers is now ours. What was mine is now for sale at Goodwill. So my wife and I have been doing different stuff, trying to have some fun. We just went to an auction for the first time. Got any auction folks here tonight? Oh yeah, all right. So we go to this auction. I've never been to one, so I get right in front, right in the middle of the action. And they're auctioning off like a shed, I think it was. And so as they're taking bids, I happen to see my buddy across the way. And I was like, hey! Yeah. So then, and then the auctioneer points at me. I was like, oh, you're gonna point at me? Point at you. How about that? Then I realized, he thinks I'm bidding on this, right? So now I'm trying to politely interrupt without actually interrupting anything. Yeah. So I'm kind of watching him take bids over here, and he'd look back at me, and I was like, And then I try a new strategy, because that's not working. And if you're a real auction goer, you know this isn't helping either. I'm going, I'm gonna cut this. That means half, yeah. So if he's asking 1,000, I'm saying that's 500. I'll give you 500. So I'm still bidding, even though I'm like, I'm cutting this off. So long story short, now we own the shed. So we have fun. My wife and I play a game a lot of you have probably heard of. It's called Pick What Restaurant We're Gonna Eat At. She says, this is your night. I want you to pick. I'm like, all right, let's go get some seafood. No. Steak? No. Mexican? No. Then as the guy, we say the same thing every time at this point. Right? Well, it sounds to me like you have a place in mind. If you do, that's fine. Just say where you want to go. We'll go there. No big deal. Right? Then she says the same thing back every time. Oh, I don't have a place in mind. I want you to pick. I'm like, all right, I'll keep guessing. Chinese? No. Pizza. Well, if that's where you want to go. I'm like, yeah, thank you for letting me pick. And then she drugged me to one of these escape rooms. You guys familiar with these things? Okay, all right. So if you don't know, they take you and a group of friends, they lock you in a room, and you have to solve a series of clues to get out, okay? So basically show up, give a guy your credit card, let him lock you in a room. And we get in there, and the first clue is this voice over the sound system, and it goes, "I have hands, but cannot hold." And everybody's like, "What is it? What could it be?" And I'm like, "Why am I here?" Because everyone knows hands that cannot hold any riddle is a clock. Everyone knows this, not the people I'm locked in a room with. You know, my wife's friend says, "I bet it's a cat." I go, "What?" Yep. I wonder if there's a cat in here. I tapped her on the head. I go, "I wonder if there's a brain in there." I go, "Guys, it's a clock. Everyone knows hands that cannot hold is the clock. Check the clock." They check it. Guess what? I was right. So we work our way through the clues. We get to the final clue, and it's this huge, long, elaborate math problem. And it says, enter the answer on the phone keypad, and it's done. And everybody's like, "It's too complex. We'll never figure it out." And I'm like, "Guys, it said enter the answer, and it's done. The answer is done on the keypad, D-O-N-E. And they go, "Oh, is it? Is it, smart guy?" Guess what? Didn't work. So eventually, we run out of time. They have to come let us out. And on the way out, just for kicks, I entered done on the keypad, and it worked. And the lady that hit the buttons originally, she's like, "Oh, I am so sorry. I do kind of feel like when I hit the buttons, I might hit a couple at the same time." I was like, "Thanks a lot, Deb." We'd already be out of here if it wasn't for you and your sausage fingers. So they sell this thing as like a bonding experience. All I know is I have way less friends now. So, we have to work together. You know that? We have to work together. My wife helps me get dressed. Yeah. Anytime we're getting ready to go somewhere, she'll go, "You're not wearing that, are you?" I'm like, "What? I always wear sweatpants to weddings." And one time, she asked for my opinion when she got dressed. And if you notice, I said, "One time." She walks out of our bedroom and goes, "Does this outfit look weird?" And I go, "Whoa!" She's like, "Why would you say that?" I go, "You asked me. It looks weird. Like you're wearing an orange pantsuit. Like you look like an escaped convict who's about to give an important speech." So, still figuring out the marriage thing. Been married, what did I say, 6 years, I think it is? Yeah. Sir, you married down here? How long, sir? A long time. A long time. You know what that means? That's short for, I really don't know, please don't talk to me. So I'm still learning, sir. So my question to you, would you say it's normal that you're going to have to work together to solve problems, correct? Sure, okay. So I was just telling my dad, our water heater went out. So I had to boil pots of water to dump in the tub, right, so my wife could take a bath. Right? He didn't quite understand. He's like, whoa, let me get this straight. She just lays in the tub while you pour boiling water on her? I go, yep, that's what we do. Now, would you also say, is it normal to once in a while have a small verbal disagreement? You see, I'm not trying to get you in trouble. He looks very uncomfortable. Okay. So, my wife came home from the grocery store. And she goes, I hope you're not going to be mad at me, but I bought the wrong kind of tortilla chips. I was like, how? I said you could buy any brand of tortilla chips. She goes, well, I bought unsalted. I go, get out! Then that led to a dark discussion over which of us would be in worse shape if the other one died. She goes, Jeremy, you would be lost if something happened to me. I go, you're right, I would be lost. Because I have no idea where you've put any of my stuff. She goes, yes, you do. It's at Goodwill. My son is super energetic. You know, we're just playing out in the yard, had one of those like rubber dodgeball things, we're bouncing it, rolling it back and forth. And out of nowhere, he just decides he's gonna run straight for the road. So I start chasing after him, and I realize he's gonna get to the road before I can get to him. There's a car coming. So I took the ball, nailed him with it. And now I can say, I hit my kid with a dodgeball for his safety. You think back when your kids were little, not teens, little, right? Did you have to go to the doctor all the time with them? Sometimes, yeah. Oh, we were at the doctor's office all the time. We were just in there, we thought my son had a concussion because some guy hit him in the head with a dodgeball. So, and he's always got something to say. He was running around the house, wreaking havoc. And he's just laughing and laughing. And as he's doing it, we're trying to get him to stop. He won't stop. And eventually I catch him. And I put my hand on him. And I look right in the eyes. And I go, son, nobody's laughing. And he goes, yep, just like your show. I didn't even say anything. I was like, that was pretty good. He's always got something to say. He wanted to be done with his food, and I said, nope, you did not eat all your vegetables. You're not done. And my wife goes, yeah, don't you want to be big and tall like Daddy? And he goes, well, I want to be tall, but Dad is freak tall. I ate just the right amount. Anytime I'm in front of an audience, I always try to take a moment to find a way to educate, motivate, inspire. And so, when we got married, I remember standing on the stage of the church, watching my bride walk down the aisle, and I started crying because I could not believe someone would love me so much that they would forgive me for all of my past and just accept me for who I am. And that's exactly how Jesus feels about each and every one of us. Amen? Amen. So I tell you all that to tell you this. The power of prayer is amazing. And so, my wife just told me this. That when she was single, she was so tired of having her heart broken that she would pray and pray and pray that she would never have another first date again until it was her final first date. And one by one, every date she had scheduled fell through until the day I was there. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. You know, I just found this out. And I go, so does that mean on that first date, when you saw me in that doorway, did you think, there stands my future husband? And she said, no. I thought, does he play basketball?
That was really some refreshing humor, and I feel better already. You know, the Old Testament book of Ecclesiastes says there's a time to cry and a time to laugh. And so I'd encourage you to share this presentation with a friend who needs it. It's okay to laugh once in a while. And we'd like to provide you with more clean humor, so we've assembled a very entertaining collection for you. Visit us online for your complimentary access to family-friendly comedy that you're going to enjoy.
Yeah, you can access that comedy collection, including this message from Jeremy Nunes, when you follow the link in the program description below. Or give us a call, we'll tell you more. 800, the letter A, and the word family. On behalf of the entire team, thanks for joining us today for Focus on the Family with Jim Daly. I'm John Fuller, inviting you back as we once again help you and your family thrive in Christ.